I have stayed in Poblino district near the beach, so that's where I'm starting my walk today. Even at 7 am in the morning, this area full of people, mostly doing some sports or just walking around. I especially enjoyed this skate park that is always full of people of all ages doing skateboard tricks or learning how to actually skate. It has some nice southern vibe that I rarely experienced in other cities. Despite this walk happened in winter, some people had their morning swim as well. Some of the people were even doing it naked. Very fresh way to start your day. Playa Marbella and other beaches nearby have become my favorite areas of the city, especially in the mornings. I did quite a lot of morning runs here and always felt energized. It's very calm, but at the same time full of morning life, which I appreciate a lot. Also, Spanish cities have probably the most number of runners I've ever seen in any other place. But it was time to go inward into the city. I walked through Rambla del Poblino, which is the busy street in the area with a lot of cafes, but at the same time it has a nice residential feeling to it. It feels like people are actually living here instead of coming and going away. One of my favorite things is simply watching the morning as it unravels. I always wonder about the life of all those people walking around, why they decided to start their day this way or another, what they are shopping for, where they are going, what their goals are. But any people watching activity is better with coffee. Plus, it wasn't the most warm of the days, so I stumbled upon the Colombian place called Barcelona Coffee Bar. It's a more traditional coffee place compared to the specialty shops I usually go to. It has more of a local vibe, and I'd imagine that's how coffee bars must look in Colombia. Energized by the caffeine, I stroll towards the north of Poblino, which has totally different vibes compared to the beach area. The further north you go, the more you see buildings rising higher and higher. It all peaks near the large diagonal avenue that slices through the area and is full of offices and people usually rushing to work. But it was a weekend, so it was a good chance to walk through empty, tall buildings, stepping into some kind of glass jungle. Business vibes are not that common in Barcelona, so this area is an exception. Diagonal Avenue nicely leads you to the recently finished area of Gran Clariana. I wouldn't call it a park, but rather an urban space. It has a park, but also a lot of other amenities for people to enjoy, and it's all car free. It also has one of the most unique subway entrances I've ever seen, full of cactus plants. When you're using the escalator towards the entrance of Gloria's metro station, it feels like you're stepping into some Mexican desert. It's perfect way to bring nature to the urban environment. There is more to see around here, from dog parks to art installations and some elderly gatherings. I don't really know what it was all about. It was time to continue my wander towards the Exemple area and probably the most famous building in the city. I'm not a huge fan of touristic places, but I just couldn't skip it entirely as it's in the heart of the city, both literally and metaphorically. Of course, it's Basilica della Sagrada Familia, a crazy project by Antonio Gaudí that's been in development for 144 years and still hasn't been finished. The new timeline says the completion date is 2034. I think the basilica is certainly worth the visit, but don't expect much. Yes, it's beautiful, but A, it's always under construction, so there's dust and noise and cranes around, and B, this place has so many people, I don't know how anyone can enjoy anything around here. For me, it's just always a quick pass by. It was around noon, which means for me it was time for some food. I recently discovered a pretty cool brunch place called Billy's Brunch, where you can get a lot of breakfast options. Since we are near Sagrada, it inevitably has a queue to get inside. Barcelona has no shortage of brunch options in the city, so I encourage you to try various places. I think brunch and breakfast variety-wise, this city is just unbeatable. At least I'm yet to see a better place for morning food. I got some coffee and shakshuka here, slow eating and listening to the pleasant cafe buzz on a Sunday noon. It was perfect, but let's continue the stroll. One activity I can do all day, every day in Spanish cities is enjoying building facades. If you haven't seen my Madrid video, I did basically the same there. It's just so much variety, interesting elements, different colors and moods that coexist in those buildings. Even one crossroads might contain four completely different but at the same time coherent facades. Sometimes I just stand there and turn my head around for a few minutes. I wanted to walk towards the Arc de Triomphe from here, but I suddenly stumbled upon a completely random event, which is my favorite part of those walks. It turned out it was a Chinese New Year celebration, and the whole Passage de San Juan was full of entertainers, all kinds of styles, one way or another related to Chinese culture. I simply walked with the crowd and enjoyed the show.
Okay, cut 快板. Okay, Bamboo Clappers, please welcome. Baby, no lie, baby, baby, baby.
的表演和平足尖舞，贡嘎巴斯拉鲍。
Near the Arc de Triomphe, the celebration continued with a large scene and even more activities. There was also a huge Chinese, or I'd even say Asian market. But closer to the Parc de la Ciutadella, it transitioned into more traditional vibes. Parc de la Ciutadella might not be my favorite park in the world, but it's still nice to enjoy some nature in the middle of the city. Many people were just relaxing here, and taking a break from the actions of the city. That's what I did as well. Exiting park on the southeast, you're getting close to the most touristic areas of the city: El Born, Gothic Quarter and El Raval. One interesting place here was a train station, Estacio de Franca. I'm not sure if everyone will be interested, but I just love trains. The station is quite beautiful with classic architecture and a lot of small elements to notice. After gazing at the trains, I moved further, trying to avoid touristic areas. I'll be honest, I think it's the worst places of the city, but after El Raval it gets so much better once you're entering Sant Antoni. This is a very small but very vibrant area, where many of the streets and crossroads were modified for humans rather than cars. Some of the streets were fully closed to cars, which immediately attracted people and businesses, creating a lovely vibe in that area. It is so much nicer to walk around a human-scale neighborhood and enjoy the architecture around you. It was also time to get another drink, and in Barcelona I discovered a lovely coffee chain which simply called The Coffee. It's founded by Brazilians but designed in a Japanese minimalist style. It has a great coffee too, it's not just the pleasant interior. The cafe actually exists in many countries around the world, so I'm looking forward to visiting one back in the Netherlands. After enjoying my matcha latte, I walked a bit more around Sant Antoni, heading towards Montjuïc Hill, which contains multiple parks and gardens with nice hikes. Upon entering the area, I expected to find tranquility, but for some reason, near the exact entrance to the park, a huge bar was placed, so it was super loud and simply not nice. But after getting higher, I finally found a few calm and silent paths. As you get higher and higher in the hike, the most beautiful views of the city opened up. You can even use a cable car here to get even higher, but the real discovery for me was Terrace Bar Montjuïc, which is a restaurant, but as I understood, anyone can enter through it and get to the Olympic diving pool. There you find a huge pool and plenty of seats with one of the best views of Barcelona. Many people even brought their own food and drinks and simply spent a day here enjoying the skyline of the capital of Catalonia. I cannot recommend this enough, and I sat there for a good half an hour before I finally brought myself to continue my walk. My last goal was to visit La Barceloneta and that side of the sea walk. The sun started setting at this point. As for most of this video I was eating and drinking in chain restaurants, I thought maybe it's a good idea to continue the tradition. Another of my Spanish discoveries is a chain called Honest Greens. And despite looking like a fast food, it offers quite healthy food at a nice pricing point. Sadly, this chain I think only exists in Portugal and Spain. I think they have 2 restaurants in Paris and London, but not in the Netherlands. I'd love to have them back home. I truly enjoyed the variety, the taste and the price. It's refreshing to have a healthy fast food for a change. At this point I got quite tired, but there was a long walk towards home, so I got going. I decided to take El Passage Maritime towards home to continue enjoying the evening vibes of Barcelona while the sun almost completely set. The evening vibes of the beach area are still full of runners and people doing sports, pretty much as we saw in the morning, but it's much busier, much more energized and just full of life. That's how I remember Barcelona. Busy energy, full of human appreciation of life.